I'm Emily from Mouseketeer and you're watching my YouTube channel. Da, 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 da. Hope you're all having a super magical day. Emily Benson is one of Mouseketeer and I'm here to bring you the part 2 to my solo trip Q&A. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me in a question on Instagram. And if you haven't done so already, I do highly recommend that you go and watch the part 1. I'm trying to think what I just spoke about. I literally just finished filming it. We spoke about like hotels, dining plans, Mickey's Scary Halloween party. We spoke about the airport and things like that. So if you want to check that one out, definitely check that one out. But I'm going to answer some more questions in this part 2 now. And if there is a question which I do not answer in this video, but you would like answered, drop it in the comment section down below. I will either reply to you in the comments or I will film a part like 7 to these questions. But I'm really enjoying reminiscing on my solo trip. And if you haven't done so already, do check out my Walt Disney World solo trip series from September 2019. I have a playlist on my channel. And I just had the most amazing time. I went for 2 weeks to Walt Disney World. I stayed in the Art of Animation Resort. I had the middle Disney dining plan. I went to Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon. I did the mini golf. The only thing I didn't do was Disney Springs because we do not stand. I ate in the parks, I ate in the resorts, I did character dinings, I did signature dinings, like you name it, I did it. And I documented all of it for you to see at home, so do give it a watch, but let's get started with some more of these questions. So the first one says, what was the hardest thing about going alone? You can tell I've been talking for like 50 minutes already. Slushy. The hardest thing about going alone, honestly, keeping my room tidy, which I know might not seem like a big thing. Because I was on my own and I had this giant room for 4 for just me, I basically got my suitcase, turned it upside down and spread it out the whole entire room. And it did lead to having to like climb over my stuff. But I think another one was controlling myself in the sense of like a medical purpose. So I almost passed out on my 3rd day. As I mentioned in my part 1, I slept for a maximum of about 4 hours per night. For 2 weeks straight, I was running on 48 hours sleep maximum is what I had in 2 weeks. And I just, because I was on my own, I was in my happiest place, I wanted to make the most of all my part-time, so I paid all this money to go on my trip. I was there, park closed, opening every single day. Like I was making the most of all the money I made, or the money I spent in the experience and being in Florida. And I did it when I came home. I was really ill because I just drained my whole entire body so much. So I think the hardest thing was controlling myself in the sense of I pushed myself like too hard. If I went again, I'd probably still make the same mistake. But I think from like a safety purpose, I probably did too much, if that makes sense. I spent too long in the parks. I didn't spend enough time asleep. But other than that, it was great. Next one says, what was the best thing about going alone? I answered this in the last video, but I'll answer it again because it's a separate video. The best bit was being able to be your own boss. So like, for example, if I want to ride Space Mountain 47 times, I can go on Space Mountain 47 times. If I want to walk around the World Showcase 3 times just to do KitKat, like I can do that. If I just want to meet characters, I can do that. If I watch Happily Ever After for the 12th time, like I was in control. You didn't have to please anybody else other than yourself. So I got to do everything that I wanted to do, and I think that is like one of the best parts of going on a Disney trip, is having a trip full of magic with all the things you want to do. Because for example, my brother doesn't like character meets, not really a huge Disney fan, so to him doing a character dining every single day for 14 days, that would have like sent him over the edge. But for me, that's my dream come true, so I could make that dream come true. Did you overeat because you were on the dining plan? Good question. I would say no. I think if I had the deluxe dining plan, I would have, yes, but with the dining plan I had, no. So with my dining plan, you could basically do a quick service and a table service every single day. Some days I did I actually probably undereat thinking about it now. So some restaurants are like 1 credit and some restaurants are 2 credits. So they give you enough credits so that you can do 2 restaurants per day. But if it's a 2 credit, you have to sacrifice a meal from somewhere else. And I didn't want to spend money on meals. For like some days I only ate 1 meal, but then I had lots of snacks to like make up for it. So I wouldn't say I overeat at all. I say I just ate normally. I'd either do like a character dining breakfast and a quick service dinner, or a quick service lunch and a character dining dinner, if that makes sense. I only eat 2 meals a day anyway, so it worked out really well for me. And then you get all the snack credits on top of that. I ended up spending all my snack credits and all my meals, but in the end I did have to give some to friends because I just couldn't spend them all. But I would say with the middle dining plan package, so this is just labelled as the Disney dining plan, it is the perfect amount of food for what you are would normally eat if you weren't using the dining plan, if that makes sense. Did you feel more relaxed about spending money due to the dining plan? I already knew what I was going to eat before I went, and I knew that I'd spent like 700 quid on this dining plan, so I made sure, and I eat a lot of steak, so I was always ordering the most expensive thing off the menu. I do think I felt more relaxed, not about spending money, but just that I knew it was paid for. But having to worry about money and things like that was quite stressful. So just having the dining plan, it was pre-paid for. I could just tap my magic band and it was done. I think from that side I was more relaxed. But I think with regards to spending money, it was pre-paid for, so I could get whatever I wanted and it didn't matter. So I guess, yeah, I would say I was more relaxed. Where did you stay? I stayed in the Art of Animation in the Little Mermaid rooms, not suites. So it was for 4 people, but it was just me in the room, and it was right by Ursula. It was really nice, and I would recommend staying there again. Was dining alone boring? No. Character dining was so much fun. I had the best character meets. I go into detail in my part 1 video about that. And even on the meals which weren't character dining were just normal dining, of which I don't think I did many of those. I think it was just California Grill and Tiffin's. Tiffin's was part of a group tour, so I was sat with another family. I spilt my drink on the other guy and I was so embarrassed. So it was never boring. Why did you choose to go alone? So I just finished Camp America. So if you don't know, Camp America is a cultural exchange program where basically Europeans go and work in America for the summer in a camp. This could be a Girl Scout camp, a special needs camp, a private camp. There's so many different camps you can get. A theatre camp, a horse riding camp, a surfing camp. Like, there's so many. I worked in a Girl Scout camp, and then with the visa that you get, which is a J1, you get 30 days of travel before and after. I had my A-levels, so I didn't do any travelling beforehand, but I did do travelling after. So I went to Walt Disney World for 2 weeks, and because I was in America on my own, there was no reason for my family to come, and I went on my own. I've always wanted to go on my own, so I just took the opportunity and I went for it. How much did the whole trip cost, including spending money? Okay, I don't mind sharing this now because I saved up with it through my own hard work, so it doesn't really bother me too much. This is not me boasting in any way, shape or form. It did take me 6 years to save up for this trip, so it's not as if it came to me easy. But the hotel room was £2,000 for 14 nights. I think it worked out at £142 a night, because Disney charges per room, not how many people are in the room. My tickets were £750, I think. No, my tickets were £500 for 2 weeks. My dining plan was £750 for 2 weeks. My spending money, I spent about $1,000. My flights, internal flights, so getting from Camp America to Walt Disney World. So Camp America was in Washington. Washington is here. Florida's there. I think they came to $150. That was a steal of a deal. But I think, I'm not really sure what else I spent money on, but I know it did come up to about £5,000. But it did take me 6 years to save up. I speak of it in my part 1, but basically I saved up every single pocket money, birthday money, work money, wages, from the age of 12. So I have been saving up for 6 years to go on that trip. Favourite quick service and table service locations, please. That is a good one. Okay, I'll just do one of each, otherwise I'd pick every single one. Favourite quick service, Be Our Guest lunch. Be Our Guest lunch is insane. You don't get the intimate experience. Well, okay, favourite quick service and table service is Be Our Guest. So for the quick service side of it, so breakfast and lunch is quick service. So for breakfast they have things like you can get fruit, croissants, bacon, eggs, sausage, that kind of thing. At lunchtime they've got all these amazing sandwiches that come with chips. The French dip sandwich, magnifique, amazing. So for going for quick service at Be Our Guest, it is really it is very good value for money, because you get the Be Our Guest experience in the sense of you get to go in, you get to go into the West Wing, you can go into the library, you can go to the ballroom, and you're only paying I think maybe it's $30, I want to say, maybe. I know $30 for lunch seems absolutely crazy. Maybe it's cheaper. Maybe it's closer to 20. I think it's closer to 20 maybe. This is what it is. Lunch is closer to $20 and then breakfast is closer to 30. I do not recommend going for breakfast. I do recommend going for lunch. So I'd definitely say be our guest for lunch, and then I'd also say be our guest for dinner, because you get to meet the beast. It's a lot quieter, it's less busy, everyone's sat down, it's a table service, you have a waiter, the food is absolutely insane, the immersive experience is insane. So I think my number one is be our guest for table service and quick service, but I probably should make a video reviewing all the different dining places I went to, because I did go to like 20 different restaurants. Are the parties etc worth doing? Good question, and the answer is absolutely yes. I personally believe doing after hours and doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party was 100% the money, worth the money. So after hours is $125, and then Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party varies from about $80 up to $130 depending on when you go. I did both of these in the Magic Kingdom. After hours was absolutely insane. In 3 hours I did every single ride in Magic Kingdom. I did all 20 rides in 3 hours and got free Mickey ice cream bars, I had free Diet Cokes, I had free popcorn. I was absolutely loving it. Like, I would go to Florida and just do after hours for like 2 weeks straight if that was an option. Like, it was absolutely insane. Like, the parks are dead, you get so much done. They still have some character meets as well and things like that. So really highly recommend after hours, definitely worth the money. Like, if you have the extra money to spend, like, please do it. Like, it is honestly so worth it. Like, it will change your life. Well, it changed my life anyway. And Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, again, I mentioned in part 1, but it's literally so worth the money. If you think you're paying $80, you've got limited park capacity, you are seeing shows, parades, and fireworks you can only see with that ticket, rare character meets you can only meet at Not So Scary. For example, all 7 dwarfs, you've got Lotso, you've got Elvis Stitch, you have got Jack and Sally, you've got Ariel and Eric, you've got Belle and Gaston, which is like super rare. You have got, I'm trying to think who else was there. There were so many people. You've got, oh, the Winnie the Pooh gang are in the cutest little costumes. You have Cruella de Vil, you have Anastasia and Drizella. You have, I don't know if I'm missing anybody or if that's it. I feel like I'm missing a load. Oh, Tarzan's there with Jane and Turk. You got Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, the list goes on. So I personally think for Not So Scary, considering you get ride layovers, parade, fireworks show, stage show, trick-or-treat trails, limit, and like, for example, even if you're not into the shows, you're not into the characters, all the ride wait times are really low as well. For example, like Space Mountain, which has a ride layover, was like 15 minutes max. Rides like Buzz, which didn't have a ride layover and were just like normal, were only like 5 minutes. So like, for any reason of why you're going to Not So Scary, like, it is worth it. Like, please, 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 please go. Like, honestly, Not So Scary has changed my love for Halloween. Like, I am now obsessed with Halloween. Like, right now, I love Halloween more than Christmas, which is kind of crazy to say. So yes, it is 100% worth it. Is the dining plan worth it, and which level of dining plan is best? Yes, the dining plan is absolutely worth it. I can't remember if I said it in this video or in the part 1, but I did the middle dining plan. It was £750. I worked out, I can't remember how much it was exactly, but I think I saved about £250 by doing, no, maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was more than that. I think I saved £500 by doing the dining plan, which is crazy to think by just selecting something you've saved that much money. But I definitely think there is absolutely no reason to do the deluxe dining plan. I think doing deluxe, you are literally, like, I couldn't eat that much food, and I eat a lot. Like, my mum's probably watching this thinking, yeah, she does. Like, I eat for England. I eat so much. I would not have been able to do the deluxe dining plan. In the Florida heat, you do not need to be having your tummy filled with food. So do the Disney dining plan, which is the middle plan. It is literally perfect. I will make a video about dining plans. I think this is definitely something I should cover in more detail. What was the scariest thing going into your solo trip but realised it wasn't scary at all? I think the thing I was scared of the most was... I actually wasn't that scared going. You think I would be, and I wasn't. Maybe the scariest thing I thought was being on my own in Disney. Oh, I know what it was. I thought when I went to character dining, people were going to look at me like, oh my gosh, like, why is this girl, like a full-grown adult, doing character dinings on her own? But nobody did, and it was amazing. In part 1, we have a very magical story, so I keep saying it, but check out part 1. 2 weeks is a long time. What was your general schedule? Interesting, as that question has come from an American. 2 weeks from a Brit's perspective is not enough time. So I plan to do 7 days in Magic Kingdom, 2 days in Epcot, 2 days in Animal Kingdom, and 3 days in Hollywood Studios. I ended up going to Magic Kingdom every single day, as well as doing the other parks. But I was there, park open to park closed every single day. So I woke up about 4:50 in the morning. I went to bed at about 2ish. I was very busy quite a lot of the time. She've also asked about fast passes. I had such a big variety of fast passes because I was there for 2 weeks, but some ones I had off the top of my head. I had Flight of Passage, Expedition Everest, Na'vi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris. I had Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Slinky Dog Dash, Alien Swirling Saucers, Toy Story Mania. I had Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Big Thunder Mountain, Haunted Mansion, Frozen Ever After, Soarin'. I was really lucky with fast passes. Like, I got every single good fast pass, and I went on every single ride at Disney other than Star Tours and Mission Space. Star Tours because I forgot, Mission Space because that ride makes me want to puke. This one says, I've done a week solo and it's amazing. How did you cope with 2 whole weeks? It didn't feel like 2 weeks, like it felt like a weekend. It flew by so quickly. I think because I spent quite a lot of the time with friends, it went by really quick. But even on the days alone, I just had an amazing time. I was always FaceTiming my mum, or I was on live stream, or I was vlogging, so like I was still talking to people. And people on the ride queues would like strike conversations up with me and stuff, so I never really felt alone. Did you find it easier to book into the restaurants at busier times alone? So with actually booking dining reservations, it doesn't always let you book for 1, so you have to book for like 2, or in some cases I had to book for 4. But what you do is when you get there, they don't charge, as long as 1 person turns up, they don't charge you for the other 3 people, if that makes sense. Like, they only charge you for how many people turn up. But I managed to get all the really good times for 1 or 2 or whatever it was. Like, I managed to get into every single restaurant I wanted. I had like a Be Our Guest reservation for 8 of us at one point. Like, but again, I went in September. It was very, very quiet in September. Like, I honestly think, hands down, September is the best month to go to Walt Disney World. You've got Halloween, you've got food and wine. The weather's really nice as well, other than the fact there was a hurricane. It was really, really good. Which is better, planning or dining in advance, or having a flexibility on the day for table service? Oh my gosh, no. You need to be booking those table service restaurants in advance. You will not get a table service reservation for Be Our Guest at dinner day of. I'm telling you now. I tried. It's just not doable. And if you do, it is very rare. I said in part 1, but when you're going to Disney, even on a solo trip with your family, with your nan, with your boyfriend, with your grandma, with your cat, don't bring your cat. With anyone, you need to have pre-planned your fast passes and your dining reservations. Have those booked. Do not book to go on Big Thunder Mountain at 4 p.m. with Jill. Don't do that. Just book your dining reservations, but I cannot stress to you enough, book those dining reservations on your 180 days. If you want to be getting into Artist Point, Be Our Guest, Cinderella's Royal Table, you have to book on that 180 days, or you are not going to get the reservations, or if you do, you might not get enough for your whole party or the time that you want, kind of thing. So I really, 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 really highly do recommend book 180 days in advance. Best solo dining experience, I think, was at Crystal Palace. I mentioned it in part 1. But the characters, my cast member was called Kit, and he literally spent like all this time talking to me. He was asking all about me. It's been really lovely, really kind and caring. And then the Winnie the Pooh gang literally spent so much time with me, like gave me all the biggest hugs, and like all the cast members were like taking pictures of me on my phone, so I got some really amazing pictures, and I honestly just had the best time in Crystal Palace. So I really do recommend Crystal Palace as a solo diner. Did waiting in long lines solo get boring? There was no long lines. I think the longest I waited in line was for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, and the reason that line was so long is because we went at the end of the night and we waited for everybody else, so we were the last guests in line, so we'd get like the ride vehicle to ourselves, and we're the last members in Batu. But I never waited in a long line because I went in September, so I can't say that it did. How far in advance did you book the trip? I booked the trip in January and I went in September, but I had the trip planned. So I went September 2019, I booked it January 2019, but I had the trip planned, like the dates, what I was doing, where I was going, how much money I was spending, from about maybe beginning of 2018, but I only booked it about like 8 months in advance. Did you enjoy the time on your own more, or the time you spent with Disney friends more? Oh my gosh. My friends are gonna watch this video. I did enjoy the time I spent with my friends. However, I didn't also enjoy the time I spent alone more. I will say, oh my gosh, sometimes being with a group, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. We did what the group did. Like, for example, there was one day where I walked around the World Showcase, I think it was like 4 times. I'm not a big Epcot fan, and I'm now really not a big Epcot fan because I walked around the World Showcase 4 times in one day. I enjoyed the time I spent on, like when I went to After Hours on my own, it was like the best night of the trip. I enjoyed both the same. I'm not answering that question, but I had a really good time on my own. What realistically speaking would be your ideal trip length? 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks I'd get it all done, which is quite a lot. I know 3 weeks is like a crazy amount of time to spend in Disney, but I think I need 3 weeks. On a solo trip, who takes your photos? Do you buy PhotoPass or ask strangers? So in the UK, we actually get Memory Maker PhotoPass for free as part of our park tickets. I don't know if people knew this. So it just comes with it, so you don't even have to buy it. But if I had to buy it, I would have bought it. I personally didn't feel too comfortable with giving a stranger my phone, but I did in a few occasions when I was in a character dining and there wasn't a character attendant. Or I just use my selfie stick. I mentioned it in the first video, but I just use this. So you can bring this into the park because it doesn't extend, it just stays at this height, like it doesn't get any taller. It like can bend around, so you can put it like in really helpful places. But I highly recommend if you are going on a solo trip, buy Memory Maker, buy PhotoPass. There are literally cast members everywhere and they're really willing to like work with you to get like the perfect shot. So definitely like do get it. I really do recommend it. What airline did you fly with and what airport was it outbound? What does outbound mean? I'm just going to tell you all my flights, I don't know what outbound means. So when I flew from London to Portland, so for Camp America, I flew with Delta and it was really, really good. I recommend Delta, I've flown with them loads. When I flew from Portland to LAX, I flew with Delta again. And then from LAX to Florida, I flew with Delta again. I did, yeah, no, I flew with Delta again, and then on the way home, I flew home with Virgin Atlantic. They were all absolutely amazing, really accommodating that, like, I was on my own, and were just really, really lovely. Do you ever feel judged in the parks by families or cast members when on your own? No, that was something I was really worried about, and I didn't. There are way more people there on your own than you realise. I think, like, I absolutely hate stereotypes, but I think being an 18-year-old on her own in Disney, people didn't really judge me as much. But this is the, like, I'm gonna go off a bit here. You should not judge other people for being in the parks. Like, it's not in any way like your place to give an opinion on why someone's in Disney. Like, if someone's 80 years old and they want to go ride Space Mountain on their own, like, leave them to go ride Space Mountain on their own. Like, it's not bothering you. Like, I see all these things, like, adults without children shouldn't go to Disney. Like, bog off. We are the people that are funding Disney with all the merchandise that we buy. But I was worried about feeling really judged, and I didn't at all. I felt absolutely cool. Like, the amount of people are like, oh my god, that's so awesome, like, you've come from England on a solo trip? I was like, yeah, check me. So no, I didn't feel judged at all, and I don't think we should judge people for going to the park solo, or for any reason. Like, just let people do their own thing. If it's not negatively impacting you, like, don't worry about it. Did you feel overwhelmed? How did you make sure you were prepared? I did feel overwhelmed when I got to when my bag comes out at the airport, because my bag took forever and I thought I like put it on the wrong flight because I had a connecting flight. I was like, oh my god, did I leave my bag in LAX? Like, was I supposed to move it? That was the only moment I felt overwhelmed. Other than that, I felt so chill and so calm the whole entire time. To make sure I was prepared, I had this little like wallet. I don't know where it is now, but it was like this big, and it said like, one of your Mouseketeer going to Disney World or something like that, and it had all my documents in. So I had printed out on paper my fast passes, my dining reservations, hotel things, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party tickets, after hours tickets, because even though you can get it on My Disney Experience, I just wanted a paper copy in case for some reason My Disney Experience went down, and I also ticked things off. I also had a bucket list and a spreadsheet to follow. I didn't do anything with the bucket list or the spreadsheet, but it was there, so I was really prepared. I had everything ready to go. I had cash as well as card, because you never know like if your card's going to get declined and things like that. So it's just like doing the adult things for being prepared, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. The next one says, was it easy to get there and know where to go? Did anyone help? Good question. Okay, so I know Walt Disney World like the back of my hand. I have been 5 times. So to me, if I'm going to go solo anywhere, it was going to be Florida. Like, I know where I'm going, I know the cast members, I know the parks, and I knew I felt safe because there are cast members everywhere, there's security everywhere. Like, it's probably one of the most safest places in the world to go as a solo traveller. So I knew where I was going, like, but I'd never been to a Disney resort in my whole entire life. I'd never been to MCO on my own. So for example, like I didn't really know how to get to the Magical Express, so I just went up to someone in the airport. I was like, hi, like, do you know how to get to the Magical Express? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll show you. Like, everyone in America is so nice. Like, they like walked me there. I was like, oh, thanks. So like I just asked for help if I needed it. At the reception desk, I was best buddies with the receptionist. Like, they loved me, I loved them. I'd come in at 3 AM, they'd be like, and I was like, we love to see it. If I needed more towels, like, they were really nice. Like, if I need more toilet roll, they were really nice. Like, everyone was just really nice. Like, if like, I literally found with Disney, if you need help, just ask. Like, they will do everything they can to accommodate you. So there was literally, my solo trip was perfect. There was literally, like, I can't even put in a complaint about the solo trip. Like, nothing went wrong. Everything was just literally amazing. The next one says, would you do a solo trip if you didn't meet up with people? I'm worried about getting lonely. Yes. As I mentioned earlier, and this is not shade to my friends in any way, shape or form, because I love my friends so much, I could have gone 2 weeks on my own and I would have had just as amazing time than if I was with my friends. Like, the days that I spent on my own, or the hours I spent on my own, I had just as much fun. I like to think that I'm a lot of fun, so I really enjoy my own company. And I think the only reason I preferred being on my own in some moments and with my friends is because, for example, they wanted to do things I didn't want to do, whereas I was on my own, I could do what I wanted, but I didn't get lonely at all. But then I have always spent a lot of time on my own. I don't really have many friends. So, for example, like in college, I spent a lot of time on my own, like in between lessons. And at university, I spent a lot of time on my own. So I spent my whole summer surrounded by people. Like, at my Girl Scout camp, I had like 14 little kids that thought I was like their mum for a week, and then I had all my friends. So I was used to spending time surrounded by people, and I literally went from being surrounded by like 50 people every day to being on my own, and I didn't feel lonely once. But the way that I tested out that I would know if I'd like a solo trip is I took myself out to dinner on my own in London. I went to Pizza Express, and I felt just as comfortable in Pizza Express on my own than I did with a friend, and that's when I knew I could manage a solo trip. I know eating at Pizza Express for dinner and going to Walt Disney World for 2 weeks is two very different scenarios, but I think if you personally don't feel comfortable going to eat on your own without worrying about, am I going to get lonely? Am I going to get bored? Is it going to be awkward? Maybe a solo trip isn't for you yet, but honestly, you can't say you don't like it until you try it, kind of thing. So for me, it worked out fine. It's probably not for everybody, but for me, it did work really well. But if you have any like really specific questions about moments where you feel you might feel lonely or things that you're worried about, like, let me know and I definitely will answer them. And then we've got our final set of questions. I don't know if there was any, but we'll have a look. What was the highlight of your trip? I had so many. Doing the backstage magic tour was insane. Like, I held a leaf from the Tree of Life. I got to see the control room for Rivers of Light. I got to see how the American Adventure show works. Like, I saw how they make audio animatronics. I went to the workshop of where all the rides are kept. I saw the first ever Tiki Room bird and I got to turn it on. What are the chances they picked me, the Tiki Queen? I went to Mickey's Not Scary for the first time for 4 times. I got to meet up with all these amazing new friends. Like, for example, like Rod is like my best buddy ever, and I met him on this trip, and I'm so glad. Like, it was one of the highlights of my trip. I did Galaxy's Edge opening day. I went to Toy Story Land for the first time. I did Pandora, first and last guest in every single park. Like, there was just, the whole trip was amazing. Like, if you watch my Walt Disney World vlog series, sorry to promote it again, you will see I just had the biggest smile on my face the whole entire time. Like, it was amazing. Safety tips. Make sure that you've got all your belongings with you. Like, for example, if you've got a backpack, put your purse at the bottom. I think that's just a generic safety tip anyway. Make sure you know where your phone is at all times. Make sure you drink water. Don't jump on the ride tracks. I don't know. Be a smart, responsible adult, I guess. Did you take much into the parks? If so, what kind of bags you use, or do you keep things in your pockets? Awesome. Okay. I took this exact bag. Well, I don't know if you can see, I have a little Ursula one up there and a Kermit the Frog one. But I took this bag, I bought this bag whilst I was there. I have loads of these Loungefly bags. They're mini backpacks. I've got to try and remember what was in my part bag now. I had a fuel rod. So fuel rods are portable chargers which you can exchange at Disney. So you can, like, I don't know how to explain it. You, like, buy the first portable charger, I think maybe it's like $30, and it comes with a charging wire, and then when it runs out of battery, you put it back in the machine, and then a new one pops out for free. So I really recommend fuel rods. They were amazing. So I always bring portable charger, purse, Mickey Mouse to sign, printed copy of my ADRs, printed copy of my fast passes, a spare Minnie Mouses if I needed them, and a poncho. I think that was all that was in my bag. I didn't really have anything else. I want to film like a park bags video where I'll probably go more in depth and if I remember anything else. But this is the bag I took. This bag was perfectly for me because I don't have like a child or anything, so it fits everything that I need inside it basically. But with that being said, that was the last question. So thank you so much. If you've watched part 1 and part 2, you're a superstar. If not, have no fear. You can go watch part 1 now. But if you would like me to make a part 3, drop comments in the comment section down below. If there's anything I missed, let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a super magical day. And as always, I'll see you guys real soon. Bye!